Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today I'd like to continue on with 1970s disaster movies and our discussion of these films. Today I'd like to focus in, if I may, on a particular made-for-TV movie that I understand was first broadcast in the United States in February of 1973, specifically on the television network CBS. It's a very interesting film, and it is called The Horror at 37,000 Feet. And I have here the US DVD release of this, and it is credited as being directed by David Lowell Rich and written by Ronald Austin and James D. Buchanan. And it has a phenomenal cast, which includes among its players people like Chuck Connors, Tammy Grimes, Russell Johnson, Buddy Ebsen, William Shatner, Paul Winfield, etc., etc. And so this is a great cast, and it's an overall really entertaining film that is a mix of various genres, and I'll try to get to that momentarily. The story is also one of the highlights or the sources of entertainment with regard to this film. It is about a flight, a Boeing 747, I think, and it's en route from London to the United States, and we have a number of people, a number of passengers that are there, and so we follow a little bit about who they are and what their stories are, and there's a little bit of interconnectivity in terms of their own backstories, which adds a little bit of drama and melodrama to the overall story and the propulsion forward. There is also some very sinister, creepy cargo having to do with ancient druids and spirits and ghosts. And so what this leads to is a setting where you have an airplane with a bunch of passengers. It's not a full flight, but it's just a group of people, and they are essentially isolated in the airplane cabin. And we have something in the cargo that could lead to spirits and ghosts haunting the cabin, possession, little moments or really creepy moments of dolls and goo and cracking floors and the like, and darkness and cold and ice, and at the same time we have the wonderful characterizations. Almost there are some moments that are so over the top and so ludicrous that they lead to elements of the campiness, which are also very entertaining. So this is, I think, a film that is it's an airplane disaster film. It's also a haunted house movie. It is also, it's almost like the film Airport meets The Exorcist, which is an interesting comparison, I think, because as far as I understand it, this was broadcast in February 1973. The film The Exorcist was also a 1973 film, I understand, but that was actually later in the year that it was released. And so this was released after the book The Exorcist came out, but before the film version of The Exorcist came out. So that's an interesting thing. But in any event, I still think one can look at this as The Airport meets The Exorcist, starring, among others, Buddy Ebsen, Chuck Connors, and Paul Winfield, and William Shatner. Wow! And as I say, there are some ludicrous, campy moments to it. Don't get me wrong. There are some moments that are just so over the top. But that's part of the fun. That is part of the fun, to see these over-the-top moments. And they come in various guises in terms of certain maybe character performance choices or set pieces themselves that involve the ghosts and the haunted cabin, etc. There are also some very genuinely creepy moments, really creepy moments that I think are relying on very simple setups, but it's that simplicity of the setup that adds an extra creepiness factor. Just little things like the chill and sudden flashes that appear and disappear, the use of dolls and goo and the shadow and darkness, and then sudden images that are suddenly cut away in terms of quick editing. And so things are suggested, but they're shown a little bit, but not shown too much. So there's, I think, a real sense of discipline when it comes to the editing that actually leads to an overall heightened effect of horror and chill factor. And also, it's a film that I think gives a lot of entertainment. It really has a lot of entertainment value to it because there is a sense of mystery. There's also a sense of, as I say, drama or melodrama. There's also this great drive as to trying to figure out who's who and what's what. And there's a sense of imbalance as well, and not quite knowing who might be okay or who might be affected by whatever's going on here. So there's also this sense of possession, or the possibility of possession, and there's demons, and there's priests or former priests, and people trying to pull together, or there's conflict within the passengers themselves. And so this has all the makings of a really entertaining disaster film from the time, from the era, and it's also bringing in the camp, the ludicrous, and also the horrific and the chilling and the suspenseful. And also, maybe for anyone who's interested, it has William Shatner and Paul Winfield. I mean, just to focus in on these performances for a moment, Paul Winfield's character is what a great lead. I mean, his character, I think, in many ways is like the lead of the piece. And he adds a sense of gravitas and a real sense of focus to the momentum of the piece. So Paul Winfield really gives a great performance here. And also William Shatner as well. He plays a type of priest or former priest who is troubled and has his own past, and he has to somehow use this in order to play a certain role when it comes to the various proceedings, again, as we find them in this particular airplane. So there is a lot there, and I think for those who know, for example, Star Trek, you might know that Paul Winfield and William Shatner will appear, of course, together, or in a film some years later, which is called Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Well, we're getting Paul Winfield and William Shatner in the same film here, for anyone who's interested. As I say, this film probably won't appeal to everyone. There might be moments where it's just so over the top, so ludicrous and it strains credulity. And I can get that. I totally understand that. And there are some moments that are just laugh out loud funny. And my goodness, what the heck is going on here? That type of reaction. But from my vantage point, those moments still hold so much fun and entertainment value. And when you have that combined with, as I say, the chill factor, the scary moments, those simple moments that suddenly become these very horrific, horrifying images that don't leave one's mind quickly. Plus you have the whole concept of the airplane and the disaster element, or the potential disaster element. When you have all these factors combined together, I think from my viewpoint anyway, one is in for a very entertaining time indeed. So, my dear friends, this is, again, from 1973. It has a wonderful cast, wonderful blend of genre, and it's an overall very fun and exciting time and very entertaining time in my view. If you are interested, please check it out. It is called The Horror at 37,000 Feet. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well. And please keep on watching a lot of great, great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time. I very much appreciate it. Stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.